Hi guys, it's Veronti, and today I am going to be talking about my C-section story. First, to start off, let me just say I'm a grown woman. I know I look young, but do not comment about my age on this video because I am a grown woman. Okay, so I'm going to start off from the beginning basically. So when I found out I was pregnant, I was 5 weeks. And when I went to the doctor, I was 10 weeks, and they check you and everything. They do a pap and all of that stuff. And at that point, my doctor basically told me, hey, look, you're small. Your boyfriend is basically a big boy, and your baby might not be small, so you might not be able to have this baby vaginally. So from the beginning, he basically put inside my head that I may have to have a C-section. But I kind of dust that off, and it was like, okay, I'm going to have this baby vaginally, whether he want to come out of me vaginally or not, he's coming out that way. And so fast forward to when I was 36 weeks pregnant, on Halloween, I started having contractions. So, I was in labor, but basically it wasn't getting me anywhere. So at 37 weeks, it's the first time I got checked, and I was 1 centimeter dilated, and the baby was still high, and my cervix was slightly soft. Okay, and then again, 38 weeks, I was still 1 centimeter, cervix was high, baby, and my cervix was slightly soft. So at this point, my doctor tells me, you're small. I don't want you to go too far over 40 weeks because I don't want the baby to be too big. I want you to be able to have your baby vaginally. So he said next week, if you're 3 centimeters, I'm just going to go ahead and induce you. So fast forward to the next week, 39 weeks, I go in, I'm 2 centimeters dilated. Baby is still high, cervix is still slightly soft. Only change is I dilated 1 centimeter. So, he go ahead and tell me, he says, so if this baby don't come out by your due date, which is November 25th, then I'm gonna induce you at 41 weeks. But I think your baby's gonna come before then. So, so between 39 weeks and 40 weeks, I was basically walking. I was doing everything I could to get the baby out. Still, Tuesday night, still no baby. So Wednesday morning, which was my due date, I was 40 weeks, and I go in, and I'm 4 centimeters dilated. He had me scheduled early in the morning because, he told me, if you're basically 3 centimeters, I'm going to send you straight to the hospital and induce you. So again, I was already in labor, just was not doing nothing, basically it was not making me progress at all. So when I went in, he checked me, and I was 4 centimeters dilated, and the baby was at a station 1, and the baby was at station 1, which means the baby was down, coming down into the birth canal, and I was 4 centimeters dilated. So he's like, you're already in labor, so, go straight to the hospital. We'll get things moving along if you would like, or we can wait it out and see what the baby does. So when I got to the hospital, it was 10:50 in the morning, and when I got there, I didn't have to go through triage or nothing like that. I just gave them my ID. They already had my insurance information because my doctor works with the hospital. So they already had all my insurance information and everything. So they put me straight into a delivery room. So when I got in there, my nurse, she was super sweet, the nicest lady could ever ask for. And so when I got there, she put me on the blood pressure cuff and the heart rate monitor, the fetal monitor, and the fetal monitor, and the contraction monitor. There we go. And at that point, it was 10:50. I was still 1 centimeter dilated. She asked me, she said, so do you want to start on Pitocin, or how would you like to do it? Your doctor said it's up to you. So, I was like, okay, I'll take the Pitocin, to speed things up, whatever. So start the Pitocin. They told me I was having contractions, but I didn't feel none of the contractions, none of that. So my doctor came in at 11:30 and he checked me. He said, you're 5 centimeters dilated, still a station 1. So what I'm going to do is, since your blood pressure, because my blood pressure was really high, he said, since your blood pressure is high, I'm going to break your water to get things moving because, your blood pressure is almost to the point where it's dangerously high. So I want to get this baby out of here so there's no harm done to you or to the baby. So he broke my water, and at that point, he left. And the nurse told me, she said, I know you don't want an epidural, but because your blood pressure is high, the doctor asked me to talk you into getting an epidural because the epidural right now is the only thing that could bring down your blood pressure without having to give you medicine that can basically react badly to the baby or make you react badly. So, I'm contemplating it. I really didn't want to do it because I wanted to have a natural birth. And at that point, I'm like, okay, since, my blood pressure is high and this is the only thing to bring it down, I'll go ahead and get the epidural. So at that point, the people came in to get the epidural. I tell you, worst pain of my life. Like, I hate needles. So when they came in, I wasn't feeling contractions. So they sent my boyfriend out the room, and they're like, just breathe in, it'll be quick. They numb you first, they poke you first with some numbing cream, I guess, a numbing shot or whatever. I don't know what it is. And the shot was not numbing me, and so she'll poke me with it, and she'll give me a shot, and then she'll say, okay, you should be numb, and then she'll poke me with the other needle and try to do the epidural, and I'm like, I can still feel this. So she had to poke me like 6 times just to get me numb enough to do the epidural. So at that point, I'm like, I can still feel it, but I'm like, whatever. She's like, just if the pain get intense, let me know. So she did the epidural. She showed me how it worked, and that I had this button. They didn't numb me all the way. I could still move my legs and everything. It was just enough to, bring my blood pressure down, I guess. I don't know. But she's like, if you start feeling pain, here's the button. You can press the button. It releases more medicine into your spine. So I'm like, okay, cool. So fast forward, my doctor came in after that. He's like, okay, you got the epidural. We're going to see how you progress with that. It brought your blood pressure down. So I was happy because it brought my blood pressure down. And fast forward an hour, 12:30. That's when I started feeling contraction. And, not 12:30, about 12:50. That's when I start, pressing the button because I was feeling those things. And then they weren't bad. Contractions are not as bad as everybody makes them out to be. Let me just tell you that. And so at that point, my doctor came in. It was 12:50. He said, it brought your blood pressure down. So we're going to see how it goes from here. Okay, so fast forward 3:30. 3 o'clock. My nurse left. It was the end of her shift. And I got another nurse. And this lady was like so rude. I mean, like, she was so rude. I was so irritated when my nurse left. And at that point, my blood pressure started going up again because I was stressed. I had a rude nurse. I don't think my catheter was working because I had this really bad peeing sensation. And, she checked because when my nurse left, they changed out my catheter. And the new nurse changed out my catheter because my other catheter was full. For one, when she put it in, it was really uncomfortable. It hurt like a mother. Like the epidural pain, the epidural was not taking the pain off of that at all. So when she put the catheter in, it hurt, and I don't think she put it in right. So fast forward an hour, it felt like I had to pee really, really bad. And I was telling her that, I'm like, I have to pee. She's like, no, you have a catheter in, so the catheter, basically, you're not going to know you have to pee. And that's just how she said it. You're not going to know you have to pee. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I have to pee. And she's like, well, your catheter, it's like there's nothing inside your catheter, so obviously you don't have to pee. So my blood pressure slowly started going up again. And at that point, she gave me like this little, it's like a big ball. And she had me put it in between my legs to try to labor the baby down. And when she put that in between my legs, the contraction, the thing under the contraction, it stopped working. So, every 5 minutes she's coming over being irritating. She's saying, oh, you need to stop moving. You're making the contraction belt basically stop working. Like, not even moving. So how am I making it stop working? You just don't know what you're doing. And so every 20 minutes she had me flipping back and forth with the little ball, the little thing in between my legs to make the baby come down more. Fast forward 5 o'clock. Still was no pee in my catheter. So I'm telling her, I have to pee. So either I'm going to start trying to push this pee out, or you can fix this catheter. And so she went and got another nurse. And the other nurse came in. She's like, oh, I don't think the catheter was in right. She took the catheter out and put it back in. And like I said, the catheter was not in right. So as soon as the other nurse fixed the catheter, my pee started coming out into the catheter. I know, too much information. But, and then the other nurse was like, well, have you checked her? And she says, no, I haven't checked her. So the nurse is like, why haven't you checked her yet? She hasn't been checked since 12 o'clock. She's like, well, I didn't feel comfortable checking her. So the other nurse, she checked me and she says, oh, you're 7 to 8 centimeters dilated and you're station -1. So I'm like, how am I station -1? When I got to the hospital, I was at station 0. And they're like, well, the contraction belt is not working. It's like, well, we don't know. But the contraction, the thing that basically tells us when you have a contraction, it's not working. So we're basically going to put it internally. So what they did is they put, again, too much information. They put the contraction, the thing that times the contraction inside of me, inside my cervix to see when I was having contractions. And because it wasn't working on my stomach. Okay, fast forward to 7 o'clock. My doctor came in. He checked me. He said, oh, well, you're still 8 centimeters dilated and your baby is not coming down. He's only at station 0. He went back up and then he came down to station 0. And when he checked me, he said the baby's head swollen. I don't think he's going to come out of you vaginally. And your blood pressure is still high. And he's like, and then he said, I'm going to come back in an hour and I'm going to check you then. At 7:50, he came back and he said the baby head is really swollen. But I'm still going to let you, where he's hitting your pelvis constantly and it's not coming down. So I'm going to let you, and you're still a 0 and you're still 8 centimeters dilated. So I'm going to basically let you labor for a little while longer. And so if the baby comes down, if the baby don't come down, you're going to have to get a C-section because his head is getting really, really swollen. And at that point, my blood pressure really shot up. And it shot up, my heart rate, okay, I left out a part earlier. At 3 o'clock, when my new nurse came in, well, my other nurse was there when I was getting the epidural and all that. My heart rate was really, really high. They told me my heart rate was higher than the baby's heart rate, which, if you know, babies, newborns, well, babies when they're inside, they have really, really high heart rate. It's like my son's heart rate was like a 140 to a 155. When all the time when I was at the hospital, my heart rate was at a 150, which is really high. So I had to do like some calming exercises to get it back down to a normal heart rate. So at 7:50, when my doctor came back in, he came at 7, then came back at 7:50, and he goes, your blood pressure is too high. And it's high enough that you can have a seizure or a stroke at any moment. So I don't feel comfortable letting you go on further into labor. So we're gonna have to do a C-section right now. And he says your heart rate is still pretty high as well. So you're gonna have to get a C-section because if not, something bad can happen to you or the baby. That was at 7:50, and no, that was at about 7:55. And at that point, you know, like 10 people came inside the room. There was a whole bunch of nurses and an anesthesiologist. The anesthesiologist started giving me the spinal, and then the nurses came in. They changed out my catheter. They were doing a whole bunch. I don't. From this point on, it gets really, really sketchy. And they gave me some pills for nausea because I told them I was feeling sick. So after they gave me the pills for the nausea, basically they gave my boyfriend, you know, the clothes for the clothes. You know, it's like a mask, and he had to put on the whole outfit and a cap. And they basically rushed us into the OR. They didn't let my boyfriend come in. And they put me on another bed. They strapped me down to the table. And from the bottom down, they had my gown pulled up. So my gown was pulled up to my chest, and they put a blue blanket over me. So I'm freaked out. I'm like, where's my boyfriend? Can I please bring him in? I'm crying. I was already crying, but I was crying even more. And then they finally brought my boyfriend in, and after they started cutting me, they brought my boyfriend in and crying, and I'm like, can I please go to sleep? Because, you know, I freaked myself out to the point where I got really, really sleepy. So I'm like, can I please go to sleep? And they're like, yeah, go to bed. So, but they started checking me, making sure I wasn't fainting or anything. So they're like, go to bed. And I was trying my hardest to go to sleep. When they started cutting me, it felt like an elephant was on my stomach. No lie. It felt like it was an elephant on my stomach. When they started pulling the baby out, I guess they was pulling the baby out, the pressure got really, 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 like 2 elephants on my stomach. And I guess they pulled them out. I don't know. But, you know, they called my boyfriend over to cut the cord. You know, the baby wasn't crying, so I was already freaking out because I had to get a C-section. And then I started freaking out even more because I didn't hear my baby crying. So I'm like, crying, like, why isn't my baby crying? And they're like, calm down. There's nothing wrong with the baby. You know, sorry. And then, so at that point, he starts crying, and, you know, I'm so relieved. And, you know, they take him, I guess, to the NICU people. They didn't take him out the room. They just had him over there. And I'm like, I want to see my baby. Well, I'm sorry, I'm skipping parts. I told you it gets really, really sketchy. They brought him over for me to see him. You know, right after they put him out, as my boyfriend cut the umbilical cord, they showed me the baby, and they took him over. I couldn't see where they took him, but they caught my boyfriend with them. And I'm telling them, you know, take a picture. I want to see a picture. And it seemed like it was forever before I see my baby. Even though my boyfriend told me this whole process only took about 5 minutes. And he was born at 8:07. And, you know, I'm like, I want to see my baby. Take a picture. Nobody want to bring me him. So I started crying, like, why aren't y'all letting me see my baby? I want to see him. And then, you know, they brought him over, and he's wrapped up. And they asked me if I wanted to do skin to skin. You know, I said, yeah. They unstrapped me from the table, and, you know, I'm holding him. And I was so happy that they let me hold him. And, but like I said, I was really, really sleepy. And at that point, I was really, really dizzy. So, you know, I'm like, I told my boyfriend to hold him while I was holding him to make sure nothing didn't happen to him, make sure I didn't drop him. So, you know, I told them, I was like, y'all can take him because I don't feel safe holding him. I feel like I'm about to drop him. So, at that point, my boyfriend is sitting next to me. He's holding the baby. You know, I'm looking at them. I'm looking at the baby, and I'm crying. And then, I asked him how much longer it was going to be. They're like, oh, it's only going to be like 4 more minutes until we're done. And it seemed like it was so quick. No, to me it seemed like it was forever. But then afterwards it seemed so quick. And yeah. And then they took me into the recovery room. Well, no, before they even took me into the recovery room, they put me back on the regular bed. And as soon as they put me on the regular bed, I started throwing up everywhere. and they didn't even give me anything. They just gave me nausea medicine, which I don't know why before they did the C-section in the room, they gave me some nausea medicine. And when they gave me the nausea medicine, I guess that's what I was throwing up because it was pink. And I was throwing up all over the floor of the room where they did my C-section at. And then they took me into the recovery room and I breastfed and all that. You know, my mom and my dad was in there and they were like, oh, that was so quick. It was only like, you were only gone for like 10 minutes. And, you know, they measured the baby and he was 7 pounds, 21 inches long. He was 7 pounds even and 21 inches long. And, you know, they had a lactation consultant in there and everything. And I had to stand there for an hour. And, you know, my pain, the spinal started wearing off and I was itching and everything. So they gave me like some Benadryl and some pain medication. And the pain medication they gave me, like, it hurt like a mother when they because they had to give it to me through the IV. So they gave it to me, my arm was burning. It was so painful. And then after that, they basically wheeled me into my room. And the whole first day, well, not the whole first day, but the whole first day, I couldn't do nothing. Like, the only thing I could do was breastfeed. My boyfriend had to take care of the baby, he had to change his diaper, everything but feed him because I was breastfeeding. And breastfeeding was so uncomfortable, so painful. Like, breastfeeding itself wasn't painful, but, you know, because I had just had a C-section, like, it hurt so bad. And they had to angle me. I had to sit angled for the whole first day. I still had the catheter for 12 hours after the C-section. And so yeah, that is my C-section story. But I just noticed that I left some information out. So when I went in to get the C-section, when they wheeled me in, my blood pressure was so high. My doctor was yelling at everybody. He was like, why isn't this room ready? He's like, y'all got 45 seconds to get the room ready and then we're starting or we're gonna have a problem. I was like, dang, he really freaking out on these people. Like, I didn't know it was that serious until my doctor started yelling at all the nurses. And it was so many people in the room. It was an assistant physician and my doctor. It was an anesthesiologist and like 10 nurses. And then there was the NICU people just in case something bad happened to the baby. And so yeah, that's my C-section story. I hope you enjoyed. And so yeah, I had to get a C-section because my blood pressure was dangerously high. My doctor would have let me labor the baby down more if my blood pressure wasn't so high. So sadly, I had to get a C-section, but the next child I have, hopefully I can go for a VBAC, which if you don't know what that is, that's vaginal birth after a cesarean section. So I'm hoping for a VBAC next time. And also, I had staples, and a week after my C-section, I had to get the staples took out, and it wasn't painful. It just felt like they were pinching. And my C-section scar looks really good. Like, I want to show you guys, but it's a bikini C-section, so if I show you, you're going to see my whole pubic area. You're going to see my pubic area, and I know y'all don't want to see that, so I'm just not even going to show y'all my C-section scar. But it looks really good. And, like, yeah, it looks really, really good. So I'm thankful that my doctor is the doctor that did my C-section because my scar, it healed beautifully. And yeah, I would show y'all my baby, but he's upstairs sleeping with his dad. So I'm going to do another video basically because it's almost a month. He'll be a month on Christmas. So then I'm going to do basically a 1 month postpartum and a 1 month baby update, I guess. And I'm going to show y'all him and let y'all meet him. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the story. And if you're having a C-section, good luck. And yeah, if you're just looking, just in case you get a C-section, it was really scary, but you know, you'll make it through it. So yeah, bye.